Got to give a shout out to Gary, who called us two old men bitching.
Which Gary?
Gary, he's looked at our show. Gary, the guy who worked the magical stick and did a job, but he's got another job now. He's a very funny little fellow.
Which Gary are you talking about?
You don't know Gary. I know Gary. We go down and eat at Murray's Eggs Benedict every Sunday.
We're not insinuating Gary that is now our fearless leader.
No.
Okay.
God, no.
Just making sure people aren't confused.
Well, yeah, Gary. We got to give a shout to Gary, and then Dan, and we were going to talk about,
And Gary, as in Gary the fearless leader, actually does read and comment on the site on occasion.
And yes, and they've had several complaints about how we do delivery.
Yeah, we suck at delivery, apparently.
I've always been told that this has been my problem. It's not that your heart is in the wrong place. It's that your delivery is so negative and so condescending sometimes that
you're an arrogant bastard.
Yes, your arrogance comes across or something like that and diminishes your message. My mom has said that.
Yeah.
And I think you've gotten the same response.
I've heard the same thing.
And we just can't...
We don't fit in.
Well, are we misanthropes?
I don't think we're misanthropes.
Oh, I was called a misogynist the other day.
Yeah, well,
I'm actually a misogynist, but not a misogynist. Well, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, our goals, I think we were going to talk a little bit about what we've learned. There are people watching us that I'm shocked that they are. People have introduced me into...
They recognize us now.
Yes, I look thinner.
The power of...
I look thinner in person than
yes,
I am on TV.
The camera does add at least 10 pounds, and I really don't need the help.
I touch my arms too much and mess with my sleeves too much.
And hit the table too much.
But what I have found is that, the reason I do this is because I don't feel like that I necessarily need to have anybody watch, but I necessarily have to say things so I get it off my chest.
And it's not just about getting it off the chest so much as it's trying to get a conversation going in our community about things that are more important than what we see in the local media. I think that's a reason we do this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I do it so I can say those 4 most beautiful words in the world.
What?
I told you so.
Well,
I mean, that's a wrong way to look at it, but I think what I found in doing this is, when I first knew David, I didn't think he had a heart, but he has a heart bigger than mine. And what I've come to the conclusion is that I have a heart too, and the reason we give this delivery is that we're so concerned about what's going on, because the more these things go on, the more these decisions get made, we get into a deeper and deeper hole.
Yes, we do.
As a group, and we get more shrill, because you can't...
We get more negative.
Yes.
Condescending.
Yes, condescending. So really don't take that kind of to heart.
And of course, if we were billionaires or millionaires, 1, we wouldn't waste the time, and 2, we definitely wouldn't want the people to be informed, because informed people might not tolerate it for very long.
Well, I don't know. Yes.
I like one of our readers, Joshua Stoltz, who was quite often quoting management things and talking about the straw man, and one of the things he quotes is Warren Buffett, who says, yeah, there's a war going on, a class war, and my side is winning.
And that's exactly right. But you can't have that kind of argument. In other words, I sit around and listen to these arguments about the class warfare, and those that have the most interest in that class warfare have been subjugated,
yes.
Either through...
They've been kicked out of the political process because they're not selling out to the special interests. Hold on. But the most amazing thing is 25 years ago, this never would have been possible. We wouldn't be able to get this kind of airtime and connectivity that people see us and hear us on a daily basis. Technology has
if they choose to.
But technology has put this power out. People that came up and talked to Greg just today at lunch are people we don't expect on a daily basis to interact with us or pay attention, but they are.
Well, and that's
and
good.
they even told us to keep doing it, even though
I've been told to keep
friends.
doing. I've been told to keep doing what I'm doing in several venues all through doing this.
Yes, I get the same thing, but it's always on the slide. People are saying,
"Yeah, they don't want to own you."
I don't want anyone to know that I watch you, but I think it's good that you're doing what you're doing.
And maybe maybe they can overlook the message or how the message is delivered, and kind of look to what the heart about it is. And the heart about it is that we actually care.
Yes.
And that we want the best for all concerned. We want everybody to be healthy and thin through walkable communities, and we want
oil dependent free.
Well, that's too late.
It's not going to happen.
You're just going to be dead anyway. But I'm trying to be more positive about it.
But we're trying to advance ideas in the community that can help move things forward in a way that is beneficial to all, not just to certain parties in this community that seem to have gotten everything they ever wished for. And
as politics goes up and as these people are still in elected positions, they're recognizing that the tax intake is not there.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are scrambling, and the necks are starting to get stretched. If you really start to look, it's a very interesting thing about that slush fund under the Human Services Levy.
Now,
you kind of find that interesting that they could spend that money willy-nilly without any...
With Raleigh Tremel.
Yeah, so it's a very interesting kind of thing that goes on.
As we see the finances tighten up, we're going to see more and more hard looks at what's been happening, what's been working, what's not been working. Because when times are flush, people don't, they don't
pay attention.
They don't pay attention. When things get tight, that's when we find out who's got the right ideas.
The tide grows out, we'll see who's naked, as they say. And we found the Bernie Madoffs, we found the Raleigh Tremels, we'll find out many, many more.
Yeah, and it's important. You might not like how we deliver this. You might not like us. You might not appreciate what we're doing. And that's okay. Have at it. That's why we have comments. We allow video responses. We want you to engage. And this is for the community. It's not about the David and Greg show.
No.
And, hey, Greg wants to be able to say he told you so. I'd rather be able for you to say, hey, I learned something today.
I told you he's more positive than me.
Say goodbye, Greg.
Goodbye. Good luck. Auf Wiedersehen.